In the heart of the Eastern Cape, where the rugged beauty of the Amat-Hole Mountains met the endless sky, lay a small Xhosa village. It was here that Funika, a young woman of 22, had spent most of her life. Her beauty was the kind that drew attention effortlessly, yet it was her humility and unassuming nature that truly defined her. Funika's life had been a tapestry of joy and sorrow, woven together by the steady hands of her paternal grandmother, whom she affectionately called Gogo. Gogo had raised Funika from the tender age of 13, after the tragic loss of her mother. The pain of that loss had been a heavy burden, yet Gogo's wisdom and love had provided Funika with the strength to endure. Despite the poverty that shadowed their lives, Funika managed to complete her high school education. It was a feat that required perseverance and sacrifice, as she often studied by the dim light of a kerosene lamp, her stomach empty and her heart heavy with the weight of her circumstances. Her best friend, Gugu, was a constant source of support and laughter. Gugu, who lived just a few huts away, had been with Funika through thick and thin. Their bond was one forged in the fires of shared hardships and countless joyful moments. Together, they navigated the challenges of village life, finding solace and strength in each other's company. Meanwhile, in the bustling city of Durban, Rajesh, a 25-year-old man of Indian descent, lived a life that seemed worlds apart from Funika's. Handsome and affluent, Rajesh worked at a prestigious bank owned by his father. His life was one of privilege and opportunity, yet he remained grounded and humble. His education had been extensive, his prospects bright, but what set Rajesh apart was his genuine kindness and sense of responsibility. Rajesh had always been different from his peers, preferring the simplicity of meaningful connections over the allure of material wealth. His parents, proud and traditional, had high expectations for him, hoping he would continue the family legacy without deviation. Yet Rajesh harbored dreams of his own, dreams that were often at odds with the rigid expectations placed upon him. The fates of Funika and Rajesh seemed destined to remain separate, their worlds divided by vast socio-economic chasms. However, life, with its unpredictable twists and turns, had other plans. One sunny afternoon, in the lively marketplace of Durban, their paths crossed in a manner neither could have anticipated. Funika had traveled to the city to sell handmade crafts, hoping to earn enough to support Gogo and herself. Her stall, adorned with colorful beaded jewelry and intricately woven baskets, caught the eye of Rajesh, who was drawn to the vibrant display. As he approached, their eyes met, and in that fleeting moment, a connection was formed. Rajesh was captivated by the quiet strength and grace Funika exuded, while she found herself drawn to his gentle demeanor and warm smile. They struck up a conversation, discovering a surprising ease and familiarity between them. What began as a chance encounter soon blossomed into a beautiful friendship, each meeting deepening their bond. As they spent more time together, exploring the city and sharing their dreams and fears, their friendship evolved into something more profound. Funika and Rajesh found themselves falling in love, their hearts entwining despite the vast differences in their backgrounds. Their love story, however, was not destined to be a simple one. The obstacles they would face, the prejudices and societal expectations, would test their love in ways they could not yet imagine. But for now, in the midst of their newfound happiness, Funika and Rajesh reveled in the joy of their unexpected connection, unaware of the trials that lay ahead. Their journey was just beginning, and the path they would travel together would be fraught with conflict, controversy, disappointment, and adversity. Yet, it would also be a journey where love, in all its magnificence, would ultimately conquer all. Funika and Rajesh's first meeting at the bustling Durban marketplace was the beginning of something neither of them had expected. What started as a friendly conversation over handmade crafts quickly turned into regular meetings. Funika found herself looking forward to their chats, her heart fluttering every time she saw Rajesh approaching her stall. Rajesh, too, felt a pull towards Funika, captivated by her warmth and the quiet strength she exuded. Their friendship blossomed naturally. They began meeting outside the marketplace, exploring the city together. Rajesh introduced Funika to the vibrant city life she had only heard about. They visited museums, strolled through parks, and shared meals at quaint cafes. Funika, in turn, shared stories of her village, painting vivid pictures of the landscape and the people who lived there. Rajesh was fascinated by her tales, her eyes lighting up as she spoke of her home and her beloved Gogo. Despite the joy of their burgeoning relationship, Funika couldn't shake her insecurities. The stark contrast between her life and Rajesh's was a constant reminder of their differences. She often felt out of place in his world, worrying that she wasn't good enough for someone of his stature. Rajesh sensed her unease and made it his mission to reassure her. He reminded her constantly that his feelings for her were genuine, that he loved her for who she was, not for her background or social status. One evening, as they sat on a bench overlooking the city lights, Funika voiced her concerns. "Rajesh, I feel like I'm living in a dream, but I can't help but worry. Your family, your world, it's so different from mine. What if they don't accept me?" Rajesh took her hand, his touch gentle and reassuring. "Funika, I love you for who you are. Your kindness, your strength, your resilience, those are the things that matter to me. My family might need time to understand, but I won't let anyone come between us. We'll face whatever comes together." His words brought Funika a measure of comfort, but the shadows of doubt lingered. She couldn't help but wonder what challenges lay ahead. Still, she chose to trust Rajesh, allowing herself to hope for a future where their love could overcome any obstacle. As their relationship deepened, Rajesh began to feel the weight of his family's expectations. His parents had always envisioned him marrying someone from their community, someone who could uphold their traditions and values. Rajesh knew introducing Funika to them would be a daunting task, but he was determined to make it work. He loved Funika deeply and was willing to fight for their relationship, no matter the cost. One weekend, Rajesh invited Funika to a family gathering, hoping it would be an opportunity for her to meet his parents and show them the wonderful person she was. Funika was nervous but agreed, understanding the importance of the occasion. She dressed in her best attire, a beautiful traditional Xhosa dress, and prepared herself for the encounter. The gathering was held at Rajesh's family home, a grand house that stood in stark contrast to Funika's modest village dwelling. As they arrived, Rajesh's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Patel, greeted them politely but with a hint of reservation. Funika could feel the weight of their scrutiny as they assessed her, their eyes betraying their concerns. Despite the initial tension, Funika tried her best to engage with Rajesh's family, sharing stories and expressing genuine interest in their lives. She was polite and respectful, her humility shining through. Rajesh's younger sister, Priya, seemed particularly taken with Funika, enjoying her company and the stories she shared about her village. However, Rajesh's parents remained distant, their disapproval evident in their guarded expressions and curt responses. After the dinner, as Funika and Rajesh were about to leave, Mr. Patel pulled Rajesh aside. "Son, we need to talk. This girl, she's not one of us. Have you thought about what this means for our family? For your future?" Rajesh felt a surge of frustration. "Father, I love her. Funika is an amazing person, and she makes me happy. Isn't that what matters most?" Mrs. Patel joined the conversation, her voice gentle but firm. "Rajesh, we understand that you care for her, but you have to think about the bigger picture. Our traditions, our community, they're important. Please, just consider what you're asking of us." The drive home was silent, tension hanging heavy in the air. Funika could sense that the evening had not gone as Rajesh had hoped. She reached out, touching his arm lightly. "Rajesh, I don't want to cause a rift between you and your family. Maybe we should take a step back. Rajesh shook his head, determination hardening his features. No, Funika. I won't let them dictate my life. We will find a way, I promise you. Despite Rajesh's resolve, Funika couldn't ignore the growing doubts in her heart. The disparity between their worlds was becoming painfully clear, and she feared the toll it would take on their love. But for now, she clung to Rajesh's words, hoping that their love would indeed find a way to overcome the obstacles ahead. Meanwhile, in the village, Funika was dealing with her own set of challenges. Gossip about her relationship with Rajesh had spread like wildfire, and many in the community looked down on her for daring to love someone from a different world. Funika tried to ignore the whispers and judgmental glances, but the weight of their disapproval was a heavy burden to bear. One afternoon, as Funika was walking back from the river with Gugu, they were approached by Mrs. Dlamini, one of the village elders. Mrs. Dlamini's eyes were cold as she addressed Funika. Child, you should know your place. Mixing with people like Rajesh will only bring you pain. Stick to your own kind and avoid bringing disgrace upon yourself and your family. Funika's heart sank, but she stood her ground, refusing to be cowed by the elder's harsh words. Mrs. Dlamini, I love Rajesh, and he loves me. That is all that matters. Gugu squeezed Funika's hand in silent support, but Funika could see the worry in her friend's eyes. The villagers' disapproval was not something that could be easily dismissed, and it weighed heavily on Funika's mind. As the days turned into weeks, the pressure from both sides became unbearable. Rajesh's family continued to press him to end the relationship, while Funika faced increasing hostility from the village. Despite their love for each other, the strain began to take its toll. One evening, after a particularly difficult day, Funika sat down with Gogo. Her grandmother's wise eyes seemed to see right through her turmoil. Funika, my child, tell me what troubles you. Funika took a deep breath, fighting back tears. Gogo, I love Rajesh, but everyone is against us. His family, the villagers, they all want us to break up. I don't know if our love is strong enough to survive this. Gogo reached out, taking Funika's hands in hers. Love is never easy, my child. It is tested by the trials of life, and only the strongest love can endure. If you and Rajesh truly love each other, you must fight for it. Do not let others dictate your happiness. Her grandmother's words resonated deeply with Funika, giving her a renewed sense of determination. She decided to fight for her love, no matter the cost. Rajesh, too, was reaching a breaking point. One evening, he stood up to his parents, his voice firm and unwavering. I have made my decision. I will not leave Funika. If you cannot accept her, then I will have to live my life without your approval. But know this, my love for Funika is real, and nothing you say or do will change that. His parents were shocked by his defiance, but Rajesh was resolute. He knew the path ahead would be fraught with difficulties, but he was ready to face them with Funika by his side. Their love, though besieged by conflict and controversy, stood strong. Rajesh and Funika drew strength from each other, their bond growing deeper with every challenge they faced. They knew that their journey was far from over, but they were determined to navigate it together, their love as their guiding light. As Rajesh and Funika continued to defy the societal expectations and familial pressures that sought to tear them apart, the adversity they faced only intensified. The love they cherished became a battleground, a test of their resolve and the depth of their commitment to one another. In the city, Rajesh's decision to stand by Funika had significant repercussions. His father, Mr. Patel, stripped him of many responsibilities at the bank, hoping that by applying pressure, Rajesh would relent. Rajesh's colleagues, once friendly and supportive, began to distance themselves, uncomfortable with the controversy surrounding his personal life. The weight of his family's disapproval was a constant presence, but Rajesh remained steadfast, driven by his love for Funika. In the village, Funika faced her own set of challenges. The gossip and judgment from the villagers grew louder, their disapproval manifesting in subtle and overt ways. At the market, customers who once bought her crafts with enthusiasm now hesitated, their whispers and sidelong glances a painful reminder of their disapproval. Even Gugu, her best friend, began to feel the strain, her own family urging her to distance herself from Funika to avoid being tainted by association. One afternoon, Funika returned home to find a letter waiting for her. It was from Rajesh, and as she read his words, her heart ached with both love and sorrow. My dearest Funika, the days grow harder, but my love for you remains unwavering. My father has reduced my responsibilities at the bank, and I can feel the eyes of judgment on me wherever I go. Yet, your strength and our love give me the courage to face each day. I fear for you, my love. I know the villagers are cruel, and I wish I could protect you from their scorn. Stay strong, my beautiful Funika. Our love will see us through these dark times. With all my heart, Rajesh. Tears streamed down Funika's face as she finished reading the letter. She could feel Rajesh's pain and determination in his words, and it fortified her resolve to stand by him. She knew their love was worth fighting for, even if it meant enduring the harsh judgment of those around them. Days turned into weeks, and the challenges only grew. Rajesh's parents, seeing that their son was not backing down, escalated their efforts to separate the couple. They sought the help of community elders, hoping that the combined pressure would break Rajesh's resolve. Traditional meetings were held, where respected members of the Indian community urged Rajesh to reconsider his relationship with Funika, emphasizing the importance of cultural preservation and family honor. Rajesh listened respectfully but remained unmoved. He addressed the elders with a calm yet firm voice. I respect our traditions and values, but I cannot forsake my love for Funika. She is my heart, and I will not let her go. In the village, Funika's situation reached a boiling point when a group of villagers confronted her one evening. Led by Mrs. Dlamini, they accused her of bringing shame to their community by associating with Rajesh. Funika, Mrs. Dlamini's voice was sharp, you are causing trouble for all of us. Your relationship with that city boy is a disgrace. Think of Gogo and the pain you are causing her. Funika stood tall, her voice steady despite the fear gnawing at her heart. I love Rajesh, and he loves me. Our love is not a disgrace. It is true and strong. I will not end it to satisfy your prejudices. Gogo, who had been silently supporting Funika, stepped forward. Her eyes, filled with both pride and defiance, met Mrs. Dlamini's. Funika has my blessing. Love knows no boundaries, and I will not stand by and watch my granddaughter's happiness be destroyed by ignorance and fear. The villagers, taken aback by Gogo's support, retreated, their judgmental glances replaced by uncertainty. Funika felt a surge of gratitude and strength, knowing that Gogo's unwavering support was a beacon of hope in these dark times. Despite the relentless pressure from their communities, Rajesh and Funika found solace in each other's arms. Their love, though tested by adversity, grew stronger. They would meet in secret, finding refuge in quiet moments where they could dream of a future together, free from the constraints of societal expectations. One such evening, as they sat by the river that ran through the village, Rajesh turned to Funika, his eyes filled with determination. We will find a way, my love. I promise you. No matter what happens, we will be together. Funika nodded, her heart swelling with love and hope. I believe in us, Rajesh. Our love is stronger than any obstacle. We will overcome this, together. Their journey was far from over, and the path ahead was fraught with challenges. But Rajesh and Funika's love, resilient and unwavering, would guide them through the darkest of times, illuminating their way forward. The relentless pressure and adversity that Rajesh and Funika faced began to weigh them down, but their love remained a steadfast beacon of hope. They knew that something had to change, and it was during one fateful event that the turning point in their story unfolded. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Rajesh received an unexpected call from Priya, his younger sister. "Rajesh, there's something you need to know," she said, her voice trembling with urgency. "Father has arranged a meeting with a prominent family. They want to set you up with their daughter, Meera. The meeting is tomorrow." Rajesh felt a surge of anger and despair. "Priya, why didn't you tell me earlier? I only just found out." "Rajesh, you need to make a decision. This could be the final straw for father. If you don't go, he might cut you off completely." Rajesh's heart pounded as he ended the call. He knew his father's ultimatum was a last-ditch effort to break his relationship with Funika. He needed to act fast. He immediately called Funika, his voice a mixture of urgency and determination. "Funika, we need to meet. There's something important we need to discuss." They agreed to meet at their usual spot by the river. As they sat together, Rajesh explained the situation. "Funika, my father has arranged a meeting for me with another woman. He's trying to force me to move on from you. I can't let that happen." Funika's eyes filled with tears, but she nodded resolutely. "Rajesh, we need to show them that our love is stronger than their threats. We need to take control of our own destiny." Inspired by Funika's strength, Rajesh came up with a plan. "We need to make a public statement, something that will make both our communities see that our love is unbreakable. We need to stand together, openly and proudly." The next day, Rajesh and Funika made their way to the central square in Durban, where a bustling market day was in full swing. It was the perfect place to make their stand, surrounded by people from both of their communities. Rajesh took a deep breath and addressed the crowd, his voice carrying with the strength of his conviction. "My name is Rajesh Patel, and this is Funika. We come from different worlds, but our love knows no boundaries. Despite the pressures and prejudices we've faced, we stand here today to declare that our love is unbreakable. We will not be separated by fear or hatred. We ask for your understanding and acceptance." The crowd buzzed with murmurs and whispers, but Rajesh and Funika stood tall, their hands tightly clasped together. The moment was tense, the air thick with anticipation. Then, something unexpected happened. Priya stepped forward from the crowd, her eyes shining with pride. "I support my brother and Funika. Love should not be dictated by tradition or societal expectations. It should be celebrated for its purity and strength." Her bold declaration inspired others to step forward. Gugu, who had been torn between her loyalty to Funika and the disapproval of her family, joined Priya. "Funika is my best friend, and I stand by her. Love like theirs deserves to be respected." Gogo, standing tall and dignified, also spoke. "I have watched Funika grow into a strong, loving woman. Rajesh makes her happy, and I support their love wholeheartedly." As more voices joined in support, the tide began to turn. The crowd's murmurs shifted from skepticism to a growing acceptance. Even some of the more conservative elders in the community found themselves moved by the courage and sincerity of the young couple. Mr. and Mrs. Patel, who had been watching from a distance, were taken aback by the overwhelming support for their son and Funika. They saw the determination in Rajesh's eyes and the genuine love that radiated from the couple. It was a moment of reckoning for them, a realization that their son's happiness was worth more than adhering to rigid traditions. Mr. Patel approached Rajesh, his expression a mix of resignation and newfound understanding. "Rajesh, you've made your point. Your love for Funika is undeniable, and it's clear that you're willing to fight for it. We will not stand in your way any longer." Tears of relief filled Funika's eyes as she looked at Rajesh, who smiled with a mixture of triumph and gratitude. The turning point had arrived, a moment where love had conquered prejudice and adversity. With their family's reluctant acceptance and the support of their friends and community, Rajesh and Funika's love story took a new turn. The challenges were far from over, but they faced them with renewed hope and strength, knowing that together, they could overcome anything. Their public declaration had not only solidified their bond but had also begun to bridge the gap between their worlds. The path ahead was still uncertain, but with love as their guide, Rajesh and Funika were ready to face the future, hand in hand. The public declaration of their love marked a significant turning point for Rajesh and Funika, but the true test of their bond was yet to come. As the weeks passed, they experienced a fragile peace, with both families making efforts to accept the relationship. However, the underlying tensions never fully dissipated, and it was during the grand Diwali festival that the climax of their story unfolded. Diwali, the festival of lights, was a major event for Rajesh's family. The Patels hosted an extravagant celebration every year, inviting friends, family, and business associates to their grand mansion. This year, despite initial reservations, they decided to invite Funika as a gesture of goodwill. It was a bold move that symbolized a tentative acceptance but also set the stage for potential conflict. Funika, nervous but determined, prepared for the event with Gogo's help. She chose a beautiful sari that Rajesh had gifted her, blending her traditional Xhosa elegance with the Indian attire. As she arrived at the Patel mansion, Rajesh greeted her with a warm smile, his eyes filled with pride and love. The evening started smoothly. Funika mingled with the guests, her grace and charm winning over many skeptics. Rajesh's parents, while still apprehensive, watched with cautious approval. However, beneath the surface, a storm was brewing. As the night progressed, an unexpected guest arrived, Mr. Naidu, a wealthy businessman and a close associate of Mr. Patel. He had always envisioned a marriage alliance between his daughter, Meera, and Rajesh. Unaware of the recent developments, he was shocked to see Funika at the celebration. Mr. Naidu's discontent quickly turned into confrontation. He approached Mr. Patel, his voice laced with anger. "Patel, what is the meaning of this? You promised my daughter would marry your son. And now, you have this girl here, flaunting her in front of everyone." Mr. Patel, taken aback, tried to defuse the situation. "Naidu, things have changed. Rajesh has made his choice, and we must respect that." But Mr. Naidu was not to be placated. His voice grew louder, drawing the attention of the guests. "This is unacceptable. She does not belong here. She is an outsider, and you are making a mockery of our traditions." Rajesh, hearing the commotion, quickly intervened. He stood beside Funika, his voice firm. "Mr. Naidu, Funika is not an outsider. She is my love, and she belongs with me." The tension escalated as Mr. Naidu's anger turned into a public outburst. "You are disgracing your family, Rajesh. How can you turn your back on your heritage for this girl?" Funika, feeling the weight of the hostility, felt her composure slipping. She took a step back, her heart pounding. Rajesh sensed her distress and held her hand tightly, his presence a source of strength. The guests watched in stunned silence, the festive atmosphere turning tense. It was then that Mrs. Patel, who had been quietly observing, decided to take a stand. She stepped forward, her voice calm but authoritative. "Mr. Naidu, enough. Rajesh's choice is his own, and we support him. Funika is part of our family now, and anyone who cannot accept that is not welcome here." Her words, though unexpected, resonated with the crowd. The guests began to murmur, many expressing their support for the young couple. Priya and Gugu stepped forward, joining Rajesh and Funika, their solidarity clear. Mr. Naidu, realizing he was outnumbered and out of line, stormed out, his departure a stark contrast to the celebration's earlier joy. The tension slowly dissipated, replaced by a renewed sense of unity among the guests. Rajesh turned to Funika, his eyes filled with love and determination. No matter what happens, we will face it together. Tonight, proved that our love can withstand anything. Funika, tears of relief streaming down her face, nodded. Together, we are stronger. The climax of their story had tested their love and resolve, but it also brought them closer together. With the support of their families and friends, Rajesh and Funika faced the future with renewed hope and strength, knowing that their love had triumphed over adversity. The Festival of Lights had indeed become a symbol of their journey, illuminating their path forward and banishing the shadows of doubt and prejudice. After the dramatic climax at the Diwali festival, Rajesh and Funika's relationship was finally acknowledged and accepted by their families and communities. The public confrontation, while intense, had served as a catalyst for change, paving the way for a more inclusive and understanding future. In the weeks that followed, Mr. and Mrs. Patel made genuine efforts to integrate Funika into their family. They invited her to family gatherings, where she learned about their traditions and customs, and they made it a point to learn about her Xhosa heritage in return. This mutual respect and curiosity helped to bridge the cultural divide that had once seemed insurmountable. Funika's integration into the Patel family was not without its challenges. There were moments of awkwardness and misunderstandings, but they were always met with patience and a willingness to learn from each other. Funika's charm and humility won over many of Rajesh's relatives, who came to see her not as an outsider but as a beloved new member of the family. In the village, the atmosphere began to change as well. The villagers, inspired by Gogo's unwavering support for Funika and Rajesh, began to soften their stance. Funika's resilience and the dignity with which she had handled the criticism earned her newfound respect. Gugu played a crucial role in this transformation, openly supporting her friend and encouraging others to do the same. As their love story gained acceptance, Rajesh and Funika decided to take the next step in their journey. They planned a wedding that would celebrate both their cultures, a vibrant fusion of Indian and Xhosa traditions. The preparations were a community effort, with family and friends from both sides coming together to help. The wedding day arrived, a beautiful blend of color, music, and joy. Funika wore a stunning combination of a traditional Xhosa dress and Indian jewelry, while Rajesh donned an elegant sherwani. The ceremony incorporated elements from both cultures, the sacred fire and rituals of a Hindu wedding alongside the traditional Xhosa songs and dances. As they exchanged vows, the guests could see the love and commitment shining in their eyes. Rajesh's father, Mr. Patel, performed the rituals with pride, while Gogo blessed the couple in Xhosa. The symbolism of unity and acceptance was evident in every aspect of the ceremony. The celebration that followed was a joyous affair, filled with laughter, music, and dancing. Friends and family from both communities mingled, breaking down the barriers that had once separated them. The feast was a culinary delight, featuring dishes from both Indian and Xhosa cuisines, a testament to the harmonious blending of their worlds. In a heartfelt speech, Rajesh addressed the gathering. Today, we celebrate not just our love, but the power of understanding and acceptance. Funika and I are grateful to our families and friends who have supported us and embraced our journey. Love knows no boundaries, and together, we have proven that it can conquer all. Funika added, her voice filled with emotion, this day is a testament to the strength of our love and the unity of our families. We stand here, not just as a couple, but as a symbol of hope and inclusivity. Thank you all for believing in us and making this day possible. Their words were met with applause and cheers, a celebration of the triumph of love over adversity. The wedding marked a new beginning, not just for Rajesh and Funika, but for their communities as well. As the night drew to a close, Rajesh and Funika stood hand in hand, looking out at the sea of smiling faces. They had faced numerous challenges, but their love had emerged stronger, transforming not only their own lives but also those of the people around them. Their story became an inspiration, a reminder that love and understanding can bridge any divide. Rajesh and Funika's journey, filled with conflict, controversy, and ultimately, triumph, was a testament to the enduring power of love. They knew that the road ahead would still have its challenges, but with their hearts united, they were ready to face anything together. Their love story, once a source of controversy, had become a beacon of hope, showing that true love can conquer all obstacles and create a legacy of acceptance and unity for future generations of the Rainbow Nation.